You are not profitable because you keep falling for these smart money traps. You're not catching the right move because these smart money traps are inducing you to get into the market. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to see these smart money traps and how I use this in one of my trades this week. So let's get right into it. On the 6th of August on Wednesday, I caught this trade during New York session for a nice 1-to-10 ratio with only a 4.7 pip stop loss. So you might be wondering, how can I get such a small stop loss and be so accurate to the point where my trade was never in drawdown the whole time? So let me explain it. It is actually fairly simple. I do this by using smart money traps. You might be thinking, what is a smart money trap? Smart money traps are areas where institutions are trapping retail smart money traders and smart money concepts into getting into the market and then making the real move against them. So let me jump into this and do a nice trade breakdown of what I've seen. So jumping on the higher time frame, on the 4 hour, overall we've seen that we're having some sort of bullish momentum coming into the market, causing a break of structure of this high right here after tapping into this higher time frame demand zone in this area. So you might be thinking, okay, we're heading more upwards now. Maybe you can see a change in structure back to the upside, or what price is wanting to do is just come back to a supply zone to have that retracement, complete that complex pullback, and then make that next main push to the downside in the market. But overall, for the time being, coming into Wednesday, I was bullish. But apart from that, when we jump on the 1 hour time frame, this is what we started seeing. So, like I said, we tapped into this demand zone, given a nice reaction from it, causing that break of structure to the upside. So we're having legs to the upside, as you can see, marked by these red dots. So we're having this low to the high, creating a retracement, and then creating a new high. So we're having two legs to the upside. Then we created a new low before we went to create a new high. But just before then, we had that Wednesday Asia session. So I want to actually jump into this. The reason how I was able to catch this and actually able to see that this was going to be a smart money trap. So you might be wondering, what's a smart money trap? A smart money trap is a demand or supply zone, or just an area where smart money traders would normally place their trades just based off basic smart money concepts. But nowadays, if you guys don't realize, smart money areas are actually getting targeted by institutions because the market evolves. These banks are getting more and more intelligent over the time because they're funding so much money into research and stuff like retail methods and smart money concepts and whatever's in the market at the moment so they can make the most money possible. So one of the things I've seen that keeps getting targeted is these smart money traps. Let me show you exactly how I would identify smart money trap. So after jumping on the 15-minute time frame, what I said to you earlier was that we're creating these legs to the upside on the higher time frame, on the 1 hour time frame. So we're having this low going into high, causing a break of structure, coming back, retracing, causing a low, next main push. So we're having that next push to the upside, breaking the previous high, going back down, creating that low. Now, what would you see in this moment? What would you like to see if you're heading bullish? You want this high to be broken again to make that next leg. So you might be thinking, okay, the target would be this high. So what smart money traders would do, they would see this high and think this is a valid supply zone. The reason why I would say this is not a valid supply zone, first of all, what makes a valid supply zone? In my opinion, what makes a valid supply zone is this right here. Let me explain to you in a list sense. So first thing I want to see coming from a valid supply or demand zone is an inducement. So I want that area to come from an area that's taken liquidity. So my supply zone or my demand zone, I want to have taken liquidity before actually being created. That's my number one. My number two, I want that area to cause a BOS to the downside or the upside. So as you can see in this scenario, it hasn't really taken any liquidity in the time this was created. You can say maybe this, okay, you can maybe say this was like a small buildup of liquidity right here, induced higher and then heading lower. Okay, you can maybe say that if you'd like to. But overall to me, I would like an inducement that's closer to the actual zone, that's taking liquidity and then give a nice reaction off it. But in this scenario, the main thing that actually put me off is the break of structure. Remember what I said to you on the 1 hour time frame, how we're having these legs to the upside. This high did not come and break this previous low. It actually respected this previous low coming into this area and then causing a next main high. So this was a smart money trap for the time being because this high did not end up breaking this structural low. So that's my main 2 points that I would say. And then of course you can have some more arguments, but that would be me going way into detail explaining how the actual correct supply and demand should look like. But right now, of everything that I've got, this is something that I'm against. This is not a correct supply or demand zone for me. So this supply zone would be a smart money trap. So you might be thinking, how can you use this in your advantage? If you're a smart money trader, how can you, okay, use this now in your advantage instead of actually falling for these areas? Because I've seen quite a lot of traders. I follow quite a lot of smart money traders. No offense, I'm not going to call anyone out, but I've seen a lot of traders falling for this and only being able to maybe catch a 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 move out of this reaction from this supply zone, even though it's a smart money trap. But I'm going to teach you how you can actually use it as an advantage. So one of my models that I use is purely based off smart money traps. So what we could see coming into Wednesday, we have Asia session right here. We came into London, didn't see much happening in London, so I wasn't really looking at anything. But when we're coming up to New York, from New York, I trade from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. UK time. One of the trades that I like to take in New York is smart money trap trades. They always try to form in New York, so I like taking them a lot. So what happened coming into New York? That smart money zone that I marked out on the 15-minute, this zone right here, just before we came into New York, what New York did is it started tapping into that zone and giving a reaction. When I get this, what I like to see is I like to see a minor inducement of an external low or high, depending if I'm buying or looking for sells. So in this moment, we were looking for this low, external low on the lower time frame. And what you might be thinking was an external low. What's an internal low? This is external because it's part of the lower time frame structure. You have high, low, high, low, high. So this would be an external low. An internal low would be something like this right here, because it's not actually part of the main structure externally. It's internal, so it's inside the structure, the main structure. So first thing is I want a minor inducement of that external low. After getting that, we still did not come in our time frame. I like trading just at least 15 minutes before my time frame or exactly on my time frame. So seeing this happening, I was still a bit okay. We're still a bit far away from the time frame because this was happening around 1 p.m. So still is okay because I can still wait for things to play out and then maybe something happens within our time frame. So what I waited to see is after we had this minor inducement coming into the New York session around that area, you can see that on the lower time frame we had some sort of internal break of structure. So it's showing some momentum to the upside. We're having that rejection to the downside. You can even say that price is starting to show who's in control. So we're having inducements to the downside, then heading upwards, breaking highs. So apart from that, everything looks like buyers are in control so far, but we've still got a long way to go to the New York session. Coming into a little bit closer to the New York session, what I wanted to see is one of my lower time frame entry models, which is the two-leg protocol, where price creates two legs to the upside. Then I mark out my RIFC, price taps into it and reacts for it. So what I've seen happening coming into this area is that I've seen price creating this one leg to the upside, having that retracement. So this whole area right now would be a retracement because it still didn't break this high. So having this retracement, so this would be the actual low of the retracement, then creating that second leg in the market. After I seen this, especially when the second leg was created from coming from another minor inducement, showing that buyers in control. This is why I like trading on a lower time frame, because I can see really who's in charge of the market, if buyers are in control or if sellers are in control. And on the 1 minute time frame, we're clearly seeing that buyers are in control right now. We're leaving all this low level liquidity behind right here. We're leaving all of this behind, and the market is targeting that liquidity to then fuel the next main move. So when I seen that this second leg was created from a minor inducement coming into that second leg, I was more than confident to take this trade, especially knowing that this was happening just around 10 minutes before the market open session that I trade. So I trade from 2 to 3. So I was about 10 minutes before 2 p.m. in UK time that this was coming into. So I was more than confident to take this. So when I seen price creating the second leg right here, breaking past this high, just around when was this? Yeah, so around 47, 147, just around 13 minutes before. When I seen this happen, I was ready to take this trade. What I started looking for in the lower time frame, I started looking for RIFCs in the lower time frame. So we had that minor inducement, and the first RFC I could see in this area is this. My RFC, remember, engulfed candle, fair value gap, causing a break of structure to the upside, lined up with everything. I covered this low because it was a really small RFC, and I placed my limits at this and covered this low as well, because if I only covered this low, this trade would have only been a 2 pip stop loss. So it's a little bit too small for me. I tried to stay within that 3 to 7 pip range. So covering the whole low with this trade, this area, was around 4.7 pips, which I was more than happy with. That's a nice little golden area that I like to go around. I like to stay between that 3 to 7. So right in the middle, 4.7 pips is perfectly fine. So I set my limits. Price tapped me in and straight away gave me the best reaction. You can see all that volume coming into the market. I was break even right at this high. So just how many minutes in? I got tapped in at 152. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 minutes later, I was already break even and safe in the trade. And you guys might be thinking, oh, why are you break even? Why are you this? Why are you that? The reason why I'm a break-even trader straight away is because I trade with such small stop losses. So me being able to save my stop loss already straight away just from seeing so much volume coming into the market is completely fine. There's a lot of traders that are like, oh no, break-even traders, they're not correct, or they're women. You should just face your loss. This is why I can clearly see that you're not profitable. I always hear unprofitable traders say this, where you're doing the incorrect risk management. So of course you're not going to be profitable. So trust me, a lot of you traders out there, learn where to place your break-evens, and going break-even in a trade is completely normal. You're doing correct risk management. You're saving yourself from just losing money for no reason where you could have saved yourself. So in this trade, just after like 6 minutes, I was already break-even. And then for my actual trades, I'll always go for a 1 to 3, then a 1 to 10. So I take a 1 to 3, I take partials, and on a 1 to 10, I start taking the full profit, or sometimes I'll leave some runners running if I see that there's still volume in the market. But for this day, I only took partials and then took a full volume at 1 to 10. So you can see literally after just about, so I entered around, let's say 150, and just around 210-ish. So just in around 20 minutes, I already hit my 1 to 3. So I'm out for 1.5% because I'm taking 50% of the trade-off. So on the day already, in just 20 minutes, I'm up 1.5%. That takes some people hours in the day when they place a trade with these big stop losses. And after this 1 to 3, I've seen another smart money area forming, because this area did not induce anything to head lower. As you can see, there's a high right above it. It did not induce it to then continue lower. Plus, we have this medium inducement right above it. We have this crucial high right above it that didn't get tapped into. So I know that was the next target before heading lower, at least. So what I did, I marked the smart money trap out, and I knew it was going to give some sort of reaction, and it exactly did on the point that I marked out. Tapped right into it, gave some fake reaction, enticing sellers to get back into the market. This is how they trap you in. They give you a fake reaction, giving you hope that you might be getting into the market, might be catching some sellers, and then make the real move. And it did it once again, twice in one single trade. So in the second time, it was a smart money trap, tapped into it, gave some fake reaction, building up all this liquidity, coming lower, taking out all these sellers, and then boom, heading higher and making the correct move, tapping right into this 1 to 10 trade. And I was actually really happy with placing my full TP at this, because on the higher time frame, we also had this supply zone that was left behind. So I was more than happy to actually target that supply zone before jumping out of my trade. So this is how you could have caught in one single day. This would have got you up 6.5%. So you would have been on a 100K account, you would have been up 6.5K in just one single trade. So hopefully you guys are starting to understand smart money trades a little bit better, how to actually avoid getting into these traps, because it's so easy to fall for them. And I see so many of these smart money concept traders fall for these smart money traps. So please, guys, make sure you do your checklist before marking out supply and demand zones and figuring out if it's a weak high or a weak low, and if it's potentially a smart money trap, because you do not want to be falling for these short-term moves that these smart money concept traders catch. So I hope you love this video, and I'll see you next time.